Hey everybody, and welcome to more Obduction. We've been able to explore a significant part of the southern portion of the Hunrath sphere here, and I think right now what I'm going to focus on is getting inside the tower. We just got a number here from the, what is presumably the Villain control panel that gives us numbers. 406, and we're going to try to enter that on that control panel up by the tower area over there. So let's go ahead and give that a try. Now to get over there, we got to remember how to get back to that area, and in order to do that, we need to go behind Farley's house again. Alternatively, we could just go up the pathway by the river to get up to the bridge area over there, but I'm actually just gonna go do this way since I'm already heading this direction. I'm sure technically that other path is shorter, but oh well. So I suppose it's a good opportunity to let you guys know that this Villain number system that we read about in the last video is something that we're going to need to learn, as you can probably expect from a Cyan game. And I'm going to actually devote an entire video to that later on in Let's Play. Not quite yet, but before we actually need it. So I'm going to wait to do that until then. But just know that that machine is something that we can use to do that. Beyond just getting the code for this area. And we'll come back to it later. Alright, so hopefully this code will allow us to enter the tower here. Curious to know what's in the tower. It seems like they did a good job of locking it up pretty well. Here we go. Okay. So what wonders await us in here? Perfect. Alright. Whoa. Well, this place is also kind of dilapidated. Vote for Yosef, I'm assuming. Looks like this is his campaign headquarters? Office? Wait a second, this door looks familiar. It is! Alright, so this is the door right by the tree. Well, that's good to know that we can go out there. And that door over there especially looks familiar. Let's open that up first before we start looking around. I like how makeshift this looks. I mean, look at how this door and this metal bar thing... Well, I guess they could be related, but... I mean, this thing just looks like someone built this in here to latch onto this. I like the fact that these things kind of look a little mismatched. It is what I'm saying. It's kind of cool. Okay, so we passed by this sign here, and this lists all the mayors. Luther Roscoe was mayor from approximately 500 BH to 3 BH. Karl Hunrath was mayor from 0 to 10,220 AH. John Farley was mayor from that point on to 13,140 AH. Benjamin Sims from 13,140 AH to 16,945 AH. And then we got Caroline Farley, who served from 16,945 AH to 16,975 AH. And then finally we have our current mayor, Josef Peter Jansen, I'm not sure, who served from that point till now. So, in the house, when we were reading the entry log, we were wondering about what BH and AH meant, and we had surmised that it was some sort of dating system that everyone here had used to count time here in Hunrath. And of course, whenever we see suffixes like that at the end of dates, it's easy to think of years, BC and AD. But I'm not inclined to think these are years, since, a lot of these time periods are pretty significant. So what I'm more inclined to think these are days, which would make sense. I'm not exactly certain how much there is a day-night cycle here, if at all, but it seems like there might be, considering that the mining town saw some concept of mourning when they were first transported here and they saw what was outside the dome. But it's not entirely improbable to just guess that someone who was transported here in that first wave had a timekeeping device like a watch or something. And they may not have really decided what to do as far as keeping time until Karl Hunrath became mayor, and presumably this is how Hunrath got its name, because not only did he was he the one who the town was named after, but the dating system seemed to start when he took office with day 0. And there may not have really been a consistent or reliable method of keeping time when Luther Roscoe was mayor. So it's interesting to see if you divide up most of the intervals here during which the mayors served terms here in office. You can see that a lot of these terms are in multiples of 4 years. If we were to assume that AH is, in terms of each individual unit being a day, then these are in multiples of 365 AH. And a lot of these things are in multiples of 4 years. So, or at least approximately 4 years, not exactly exact most of the time. But Caroline Farley, her term, if we were to assume these are days, only lasted 30 days, about a month. So I guess that kind of makes sense if you think about it, since, at least from what we've seen, she didn't really seem to be much of a like outgoing, in the spotlight leader kind of person, at least compared to Yosef. We don't really know what any of these other guys are like, but I can kind of see her not exactly taking very well to the position. It's kind of curious, though, what inspired her to take office, or if there was something that forced her to take office. So, we don't really know. Let's take a look at this. Mr. Mayor, at your behest, here is the information pertaining to the Bleeder, its history, and some of the engineering behind it. The Bleeder project was designed and built at the request of Mayor Sims to collect and dissipate the ever-increasing power in the entire ecosystem. Mayor Sims was reluctant to allow the system to come to fruition, as he and others had become suspicious of Mayor Farley's death. He believed that without knowing more precisely what would happen to the cell wall at fruition, it was ill-advised to allow it to possibly open, thus allowing what might be outside in and what might be inside out. The system has the capacity to throttle all 4 connected worlds. The idea, as you are well aware, is to suppress the ecosystem power and thus inhibit full maturity of the trees. It was postulated, and since became apparent, that this suppression will keep whatever unknown maturity process from happening, and grant us direct control over tree fruition. The rate of dissipation is sensed and regulated automatically. The power is collected through Villain-engineered extruded cables that attach directly to the dome membrane. When the maximum power level is exceeded, the dissipation phase is triggered, creating an electrical charge followed by a discharge into the water. Through electrolysis, an amount of hydrogen and oxygen is generated. We capture some of these elements for our own use, but the great majority is released into our atmosphere. This gassing might be a cause for concern were it not for the ecosystem's ability to filter and maintain our atmosphere at near ideal levels. Excess H&O content and pressure generated by the process is rebalanced quickly by the membrane. And as you know, we discourage swimming when the Bleeder is operational. Regards, CW. Interesting information about the Bleeder, the large structure of the lake over there, as well as some details about Mayor Farley's death. And I'm assuming they're talking about John Farley, since Caroline Farley doesn't really seem to be dead, if she was able to record the message shortly before we got here. Did John Farley just disagree with this Bleeder plan and maybe was killed off for it? It's kind of a little bit dark to think about. But interesting, though. So it seems like this Bleeder holds the worlds as they stand now and prevents whatever the tree is doing from reaching its fruition. So that's an interesting thing to note. I like how Yosef has all these flags here. I guess these are the world flags that were mentioned in the manifest that we saw up by the junkyard. So all we got here, we've got a notebook. Okay, 17,125 AH. Special Council Session 2. Discussed final approval of Farley's plan with regard to the imminent attack. The full council vote was unanimous, and I gave my final approval. Preparations update. Farley says that tunneling is almost complete. Tham informs us that the Villains just completed their construction and have started testing. Special Council Session 12. I guess this is 11, not 2. No one attended. I will inquire as to reason for their absence. If these are indeed days, then that's quite a short time between these council meetings, if this is one day right after the last one. 17,127 AH. It appears that the council members feel like we're having too many meetings. Okay, so that basically confirms that. Since the plan has been approved, perhaps we can reduce our meetings to every 2 days for now. While I was asking Cecil about his absence, I also inquired about securing the tower area. 17,128 AH. Special Council Session 13. Cecil will provide a new key code for the lower lock in the next few days. Cecil was concerned about any survivors not having access, so it was decided that we would conceal the code in Farley's house and give the residents the location as they were being chambered. I also had him change the upper tower access code. I'm assuming... Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. A clue to that code has been placed under the direction of our first mayor. I don't think we've actually seen this upper tower access code yet, since this is definitely not the upper tower. We're just in the... what would presumably be the lower part of it. This key code, though, is probably the one that either corresponds to the... he says lower lock, so probably the one directly outside here. Maybe the one outside Farley's house, but I'm more inclined to think that it's this one. 17,129 AH. I've decided to bring some of the more important mayor's logs with me for chambering, specifically the initial Hunrath log, and then the logs that document the history of our conflict with the Mofang. I would think we would have an extra chamber available for historic documents. 17,130 AH. Special Council Session 14. Only Tham attended. He informed me that because of the dire circumstances, the others were either extremely busy or not inclined to have a long discussion about the situation. I told him I would suspend the regular special council sessions and we would simply meet as the need arose. 17,131 AH. I paid a visit to Farley today. I asked her to check on the availability of a chamber for the documents. 17,135 AH. I spent the last few days collecting documents. I've divided them into 2 categories, chambered and vaulted. The vaulted are less important, but obviously worth making an effort to save. They can be moved into Farley's vault area. The vaulted category will also include any books that we've managed to collect through the years. I'm guessing that we haven't seen this vault yet, because the house certainly can't be the vault if anyone's just supposed to walk in there. So we're going to have to keep an eye out for this. 17,137 AH. With less than a week remaining before chambering begins, the population is tense. We've had several town hall meetings to try to answer any questions, but the realities of the current situation make it difficult to assuage fears. 17,138 AH. Farley has informed me that there is one final confirmation from Chavar. If Farley doesn't hear from her by the end of 17,141 AH, then there is no turning back. There is an odd justice to Farley's plan in that whatever the Mofang bastards send to kill us will be returned back to them. 17,140 AH. Special Council Session 15. A special meeting was called to go over the plans for the final time. Farley had several instruction sheets to distribute the Mofang weapon illustration, a list of all souls that will be used as a basis for the chambering manifest, and a thorough summary of the battle plans. These will be distributed as necessary. No word from Chavar. 17,141 AH. Farley tells me that there will be at least one chamber available for historic documents. Any other extra chambers will be loaded with emergency provisions and medications in case either Hunrath or Murray are completely destroyed. No word from Chavar. 17,142 AH. No word from Chavar. Death is on our doorstep. Curse the Mofang devils to hell. 17,143 AH. I am leaving to be chambered. This journal will remain here to inform any future souls of what our last days were like. Wow, that's pretty intense. A couple of things that are rather interesting here. The use of the word souls is rather interesting, and I noticed that CW used the same term in his letter that was in Farley's mailbox. And it makes sense considering that they can't really use the word people with other species that aren't human involved, particularly the Arai, since they're kind of insect-like. The other mention here was of the Mofang weapon illustration. We can actually see one of these right over here, it seems. And this is something we've seen all over the place, this warning. So this is presumably a Mofang weapon. And it makes sense because a lot of their technology that we've seen so far with the imagers and all that has been very kind of jagged and polygonal in nature, so this kind of fits into that. So if we ever do see a Mofang weapon, we're going to have to run far. Also, I'm not going to actually open the book. He mentioned Shavar, who Farley also mentioned in her tape recorder message. So it seems like she was one of the people that, or one of the souls that was involved with maybe communicating with the Mofang to see if there could be a truce worked out, perhaps, and she never came back, so they assumed the Mofang were going to attack them. What is this? It's a compass. Interesting. Texas. Now, what you may not necessarily be obvious when you first look at this is, whoops, you have to really look in closely, is that this box says Roscoe on it. And this is something I didn't pick up on when I first played the game, is that in the journal here, there was something about a clue to a code that was under the direction of our first mayor. And if you look over here on the wall, the first mayor is Luther Roscoe. This box says Roscoe. There's a compass in the box that provides direction. And the clue on the bottom is Texas. This really threw me off at first because this clue is randomly generated, and I'll explain why when we make the connection with what this is supposed to be. And it actually said Arizona on it when I first played the game. And as you might recall, in the letter from the Hartnell mining era that we saw in Farley's house, the town of Hartnell, I guess, was transported here from Arizona. So I didn't really think there was anything significant about that post-it note saying Arizona on it. I just thought that was normal, and I didn't make this connection between this and the clue inside the journal there. But yeah, there's also a backer reward item with a compass. I think this compass is in French because the French word for west starts with an O instead of a W. And a license plate. So this is supposed to be the clue that gives you direction as far as what this code that says Texas is for. Because you might recall there was a set of license plates that we quickly glossed over inside the garage area over there. And I'm actually going to go ahead and head that way right now and just grab a quick peek at that, just to see what we're dealing with here. It's not too far of a run, thankfully. Alright, so over in this direction we've got, here we go, we've got all these license plates. You'll notice they're all 6 characters. And as I mentioned, I got Arizona in my first game, which is this white one up here. But the one that we need to look at is the Texas one, which is this one. Come on, I should know this. I lived in Texas for 13 years. PV7932. Alright. Now what you're also supposed to figure out is that the code, since it's numeric, involves converting the letters on the license plate to numbers. And this add-in here that we saw is a good clue to help you along the path here, showing that the letters that are part of a phone number can be converted into numbers. So we can see here that P is equivalent to 7, but what is V equivalent to? Well, the good news is that there's a phone booth out here that can help us with that. So let's take a look at that. V is 8. So 7 and 8 are the first two numbers. 787932. Alright. We haven't actually seen this access code thing yet, so I guess it was kind of a little premature of me to mention the fact that you couldn't input letters, but I thought I'd just go ahead and do that just to save time. Let's see, is there anything else in the mayor's office that we missed? We didn't look at this yet. Looks like this is an elevator. But we can't operate it. Okay. Well, there is one more thing that we haven't really checked out yet. I should have looked at it in the last video, but I didn't. That is the path that goes across the bridge over here. We haven't yet checked this out, and not over there. We had to get down from this area first. Ooh, I like how you can see your arms waving as you're running. That's pretty neat. Still can't see our feet, though, which is kind of a bummer. Okay. So if we were to go up here and access that ramp that we had lowered last time, let's see what's on the other side of this thing. Alright, so there's a path that leads straight towards the tower here. Well, nearly straight, I guess. There we go. This also runs along the wall, which is pretty nifty. Okay, what do we have here? We've got... This looks like it's part of the same elevator shaft, judging from what we can see down there. So this doesn't work, but maybe... What do we have here? Okay. So we're going to have to remember what each of these corresponds to on a rotary phone. So I think this is 7. Okay, good. 8. 7. 9. 3. 2. Alright, perfect. And hopefully this will work. Sweet, it does. Alright. Let's see. Let's go up first. Looks like we can go up the tower. Alright, so what's up here? We got a TV screen. 2 TV screens. We got a nice view of the town and the tree area. Well, let's just extend that out to this whole alien world out here. We've also got some gauges here. Hunrath, Murray, Mofang, and Kaptar. We also saw in the diagram in Farley's place that Mofang was also called Soria. So I'm going to actually call it that to avoid confusion with the species Mofang. And here we've got a camera that looks into the garage. I wonder why this is here. It's interesting. It's like we can use that when we're standing there, so we'll wait to do that. We've also got a call button here. I guess if somebody was down below, called the elevator, and left someone stranded up here, this would be useful. And a view of the other side of Hunrath. There's the bleeder there. Whoa. Okay, if you've seen any Looney Tunes cartoons, this thing probably looks familiar, right? Okay, I'm glad that didn't work. I'm guessing that would blow something up, but we don't know exactly what. It looks like this kind of runs in the direction of the bleeder, but it zigzags a bunch. I guess we'll have to look at it more closely later. Alright, so nothing else to do here, so let's go ahead. Can I send it down without me? No, okay. It'd be kind of funny if you could, though. Alright. So now we're in the area that leads to the bridge. Let's go down to where the office is. Can we go down more? We can, okay. Can we go down more? No, okay. So that's all we can do. What is this? Okay, so this is the same Villain numbering system worksheet that we saw earlier, but it looks like Yosef was working on this one because some of the stuff is filled out. That's kind of cool. This is apparently where he sleeps. A bathroom with a pine tree scent air freshener thingy. I guess you can take what you get, right? Or you take what you can get. Ooh, did he play the trumpet too? We can have some music on while we explore. Doesn't look like there's anything else here. What is this? Oh, hey, wait a minute. Aha! So now we can access the tree. The music that's playing, by the way, is the same music that we've heard kind of in reference to the mayor, so I guess you could say it's kind of his own personal theme. And thankfully we can go right out to the tree through here. Let's see what we got here. Certainly a very imposing, noticeable tree. And we turn on the water from the tower earlier, which goes through here. Whoa, we can walk inside this thing. Okay. Little stutter there. Okay, what have we got down here? This thing just keeps going deeper and deeper, doesn't it? Whoa. Whoa. How are we breathing out here? This doesn't seem possible. Seems like this is supposed to lead somewhere. I mean, this hose just kind of cuts off right there, doesn't it? Holy crap, this looks amazing. Alright, well, let's see what we can do here. Is there a little valve? Alright. Provides water to the tree. Good thing we turned the water on by the tower there. So does that do anything out here now? It does, alright. Oh. Well, that's not helping. Looks like there is another pathway there, though. That one is red. Ooh, you can see stuff coursing along the roots here. I like how these look like, you know, almost kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? It's kind of like a circuit board or something, but it's very natural. I know there's a word for that, but I don't know what it is. It's like the juxtaposition of the technology and nature kind of thing. Okay, so we've seen 3 doorways, one blue, one green, one red. So this definitely lends further credence to the idea that Hunrath is the one that's coded yellow, as we saw in the diagram in Farley's house. So I think that's about it. We're going to call it here for now. And next time, hopefully, we can go and check out more of the worlds. I really want to use the sphere that's out there by the junkyard, so we're going to check that out next time. So until then, everybody, thanks so much for watching once again. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to hit that like button and tell a friend. Lets me know that I'm doing something right, and lets me know that you're enjoying the content. And until next time, I will catch you on the flip side.